so that all the Rotarians in our district more or less have a sort of a similar experience. Now, the district governor's visit means that he has a chance to actually speak to the club leadership, and he has an opportunity to interact with as many Rotarians as possible. And I've done the first two in the past 2 hours since 6 o'clock, 6:15. And I must say that I must congratulate your club leadership and your club for possibly being one of the most vibrant clubs in the district. So you deserve a hand for that, please. So that makes my job easier. I've just returned from the outskirts of Johor. Clubs there tend to be very much smaller and have a lot of issues. So this week is going to be a good week. I'm visiting your club and I'm visiting my own club on Wednesday. So I have a good next few days. Right, so one of the other things that we have to do as governors is to actually come and share some ideas of what the district objectives and leadership is all about. Now, I want to do this early, but as you can see, it's not possible to cover 74 clubs in the first 1 month. But your club is the 45th club that I've covered, so I've covered quite a bit of ground. Not so much that I want to get things done and put my feet up, but more so that I am able to reach out to all of you as early as possible so that we all are on the same page. One of the things that I had to really think very deep is the meaning of leadership in Rotary. Now, I've been a Rotarian for 30 years, so I've had the opportunity to listen to quite a number of district governors when they come and visit. I also had the opportunity to go through many leadership changes in my club as well as in the district. One thing I think that we must really understand as Rotarians is the meaning of leadership in Rotary. Leadership in your own office is completely different from leadership in Rotary. In Rotary, we are not paid to be here. Neither are we employees, neither are we compensated for the work that we do in Rotary. So essentially, we are all volunteers. So how do we motivate volunteers? I would simply define leadership in Rotary like this. True leadership in Rotary is all about inspiration. Alright, I've gone through this deck of slides with my club presidents when they were preparing for their role, and also with all the district officers and also with the assistant governors. True leadership in Rotary is nothing else but inspiration. So what does it mean? It means that at the end of this presentation, when you leave this room, if you feel a little bit inspired, then I've done my job as a district governor. So what I also ask is all the club presidents, when you conduct a meeting, whether it's a weekly meeting, whether it's a service project meeting, at the end of the meeting, if your members leave on their way home, they pick up the phone, they complain to the family, complain to the spouse, that this is a waste of time, the leader is not prepared, I should have been here, I won't be coming next week. If that happens, then that leadership is not inspirational. So what I ask for club leaders is that please prepare, because as volunteers, we have decided to spend our afternoon, our evenings to come and attend a meeting. So to be fair to all of us, leaders have to be prepared. So when you come to the meeting, that doesn't mean that you have to know everything, but you should know what you're talking about so that the meeting becomes inspirational. One other thing that I tell my club leaders is that true leadership in Rotary is not about control. It's about service. And true leadership in Rotary is about purpose. So service and purpose is two key words you have to understand when we talk about leadership in Rotary. Why is this important? This is important because there are a lot of conflicts in Rotary clubs and Rotary districts and even in Rotary International. One of the things that we have to understand is that we join Rotary not to participate in the conflict. One of our 7 areas of focus is to reduce conflict. But yet, there are so many clubs that I've visited as well, and I've heard and I've witnessed are involved in a lot of conflicts. If we keep our focus, especially the younger Rotarians, newer Rotarians, and potential Rotarians, if our clubs, if your club, keep the focus of service, whatever that happens along the way, as long as you achieve that service, then you've done a good job. So stay away from petty arguments like, how come I don't know about this as club secretary? How come I don't know about this as club president? Alright, we are all volunteers. We are not here on a full-time basis to understand each and every nuances, especially if you're a new member. So be flexible, stay away from petty arguments, and remember what you are doing is to benefit the people at the end of it. Alright, so service is important. And one last thing, I always tell my club leaders, leadership in Rotary is not about manipulation. Alright, it's about inspiration. It means do not use your position, do not use your power, do not use your influence to separate groups, to take sides, alright? Because at the end of the day, service will suffer. Okay? Now, this is one other thing that I would like to share with all the Rotarians in our district. This is what I call the leadership pyramid. Right on top of the leadership pyramid is not the district governor. Alright? And anytime in the future, a district governor tells you that he is the one right on top, that's wrong. Alright? The district governor, the assistant governor, the service chairs exist to assist and support the club president. To exist to support the clubs. So what this means is that, alright, this presentation is available, alright, freely. I will tell you where to get it, alright. So what this means is that if the club president or the club has an issue with any of the areas in Rotary, alright, you don't have much of an issue, but if you do, if you want to know something about foundation, you want to know something about Interact or Rotrack, you want to know more about the different types of club available, you want to know more about the different type of services that we can do in Rotary, our district team is ready to come and speak to you. We are fortunate in Singapore, we have a lot of resource people and so-called knowledgeable people in these areas in Singapore. Alright, so if you invite them, they will come here and share whatever knowledge that you need. You're also very fortunate you have a past governor in your club. Alright, so we depend on her to take care of your club. Right? But in the event if she's not available, in the event that you are tired of hearing from her, you're not, right? Okay, in the event that you are, we have people available who can speak. I made the same promise for the clubs in Johor, in Sabah, in Sarawak, that we will bring our own people at the district expense to go and speak to the clubs to ensure that Rotary becomes successful. This is our promise. You pay a district due, you pay district dues as members, and this is where the district dues is for, to support the clubs. Alright, and I tell the club presidents when you come to the club, Ruby, where are you? When you come to the club, you are no more on the top of the pyramid. Alright? Who is on top of the pyramid is the club and the club members. Alright, so if we have this structure, then we understand that the assistant governor is not here to tell you things. The district governor is not here to demand that you have 100 members by the end of the year. The district governor is not here to tell you what projects to do and what projects to participate. Alright, if I inspire you to do something, then the initiative will come from you. Now, I'll give you another example why this is true, based on my 30 years of experience. We have 550 districts in the world, over 200 countries, and I'm one of the 550. Alright? I do not know of any districts in the world where all the club presidents are suffering and not doing well, and the district governor looks very good. Or on the reverse, I know a lot of districts where the club presidents are doing really well, and the district governor has no idea what's going on. Alright? That simply proves to show that the club presidents and the clubs are certainly more important than the district governor, who happens to come and go every 12 months. Right? So the club has to be the one persisting. Another issue, this is one of the danger when you are Rotarian for so many years before you decide to become district governor. You think too much. Alright? When I put my name up about 3 years ago as a candidate for district governor, I spent close to a few months trying to ask myself, what is it that I will bring to the table, or what is it that I want to do if I become governor? So this was 3 years ago, and proud to say that it hasn't changed. The manifesto remains the same. So I said then that if I'm selected as governor, I want to strengthen, support and motivate your club. If your club is strong, we want to make it stronger. If your clubs are already motivated, we want to make it more motivated. In what sense? In the ideals of service. We're talking about ideals of service. We're not talking about service per se. Alright, we all know how to do service, but do we know how to do ideals of service, which we will discuss later? And how do we do that? Two very important things. We need to enhance knowledge, and we need to understand the meaning of lasting change. When you understand these two, the ideals of service, enhancing knowledge and creating of lasting change, I will tell you, I won't even have to ask you to donate to the Rotary Foundation. You will come and ask me how can I donate, where can I donate to? That is how powerful Rotary is. But we need to understand. One of the questions I get asked all the time, especially in Malaysia, where the exchange rate is not favorable to them with reference to the US dollar. All all Rotarians have to pay district dues and RI dues. It works out to about 500-600 ringgit in Malaysia, which is quite a bit of money, right? So the question that gets asked is, why do I have to pay? Why do I have to pay to join Rotary? Why do I have to pay to do service? Anybody has an answer to that? The next question is, why do I have to learn to do service? Why do I have to learn to do service? Alright? So if you are giving service based on this kind of project, then go join Rotary. Your 600 ringgit that you give, alright, you can put it into this bowl and things get over and done with. But that's not what we are here for. We want to do what we call lasting change. Alright? So even before that, how do we enhance knowledge? Sessions like this is very useful. We have a one-to-one interaction. We get to exchange information. You leave feeling a little bit more empowered, more enlightened about what Rotary does. But it's not possible to do this for everybody all the time. So we have what we call the My Rotary portal, which is run by Rotary International. So My Rotary portal is a very, very powerful portal. Those of you who have been in Rotary for more than 10 to 15 years, I see Dr. Kong behind, who's been in Rotary, I think, before I was born. Alright, so during those early days, not that early, just 10, 15 years ago, if you want to get any information about Rotary, anything that you hear, let's say you want to know something about Interact or Rotary, you either have to write in and get a printed PDF document, alright, or you have to talk to a senior Rotarian, you have to talk to PDG Joanne Kam, you have to buy her lunch or dinner, and then whatever she says becomes words of wisdom, alright? Because we have no other way to verify this information. But today everything is different. Everything's on your fingertips. You just have to, as I speak, you can fact check me. Alright, that's what happened to Donald Trump all the time, right? Alright, every time he says something, alright, the press will fact check him straight away, and his press officer will try to change the narrative. Alright, but in Rotary, the same thing. You do not have to depend on any senior Rotarians anymore. Whatever topic that you want to know on, you can just do that. So I encourage all of you to really look into your My Rotary account. Each of you have your own account. We will do a follow-up to make sure that as many of you sign up for this My Rotary account as possible. Now, the other important phrase is the meaning of lasting change. This phrase actually appears in our vision statement. Lasting change. What does it mean? It means that whatever that we do, if we have a choice of doing it, why not choose a project that can have lasting change? Alright? So if I show you a bowl like this, you will understand the meaning of charitable or short-term projects. Anything that you put in this bowl, you have to put it again the day after, you have to put it again next week, next month, next year. Alright? Think about food coupons. Alright? Some of your projects is giving off groceries. I'm not saying these are bad projects. Alright? We are just trying to think about classification now. Alright, so whatever projects that need to be done over and over again, simple to do, immediate gratification, but you have to do it over and over again. Alright? So if you are collecting money from club members, if you are collecting money from friends of Rotary, what do you want to do? Do you want to put those things in the bowl? Forget it. They can do it themselves. Right? So we agreed that you don't need a Rotary kind of training. You don't need fees to do projects like this. So what kind of projects can we look at? Any project that repairs or replaces a body part is a lasting change project. In fact, it's the gold standard of lasting change project. We call it permanent change project. Example, a cleft lip surgery. $500, 1 hour surgery. You can repair a cleft lip of a young boy or young girl, and the effects are forever. Alright, that boy or girl can go to school, that boy or girl can complete their education, become less introverted, can get a job, can speak better, can eat better, can get married, can have a family. $500. Alright, $500. Can we think of something else? Can we save a life? Can we save a life? In India, total newborns a year. Anybody has a number in mind? The number of newborn babies in a year. 24 million, sir. 24 million live birth in India every year. That's like a country, right? Maybe Taiwan or part of Australia or something. 24 million. Now, there's certain things in medicine that you cannot change. It's called statistics. 1% of these babies will have congenital heart defects. Alright? So the math is going on now, 240,000 babies. out of which about 40,000 babies need immediate surgery within the first 6 months. You know how many babies actually get the surgeries? Just 10,000. So 30,000 babies die every year in India, not because of the lack of medical expertise. It's because they couldn't get to the hospital fast enough. All right, the nearest hospital can be 3 hours away, or they didn't have enough money to pay that little minimum that's required from the hospital, and the babies die at home. So before this dinner is end at 12 midnight, about 110 babies would have died in India alone. Alright? So if we have to choose to do projects, if we have to choose to give to the foundation, think again. Think about saving life. It doesn't matter where we are, alright? Whether it's in Singapore, you say, oh, we should concentrate in Singapore. Some people ask me, why you do so many projects in India? Why you do projects in Africa? I say, are they not human beings as well? In Africa, 82,000 babies, 82,000 mothers die giving birth. 82,000. The reason is because more than 60% of birth occur outside the hospital. Alright? So remember the 110 babies that die, double that number will die at the end of every day in Nigeria. So if we can sponsor projects, can we not look at those projects? Alright? So these are the things that we are looking at. Sometimes we get into issues where charitable projects bring a lot of fellowship. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you have to decide whether you want to do 100% of your projects, charitable projects, or you want to do some of them with permanent change. We are guilty of that. Food from the Heart, people familiar with the project, Food from the Heart. So Food from the Heart, what it does is that it's a very good, very noble objective, I must say. So what it does is that Rotary clubs will gather at the foot of a block every Saturday morning. So we invite our friends and potential Rotarians come, we pack food, like Milo and biscuits and stuff like that. And we know where the elderly people who live alone in a single room flat. And this has been happening for months and for years, and I must admit that even my club do it, and it's a great way to actually bring new members in. Alright, true story, one of the beneficiary, 85-year-old lady, had a fall in her house, and before she was incapacitated, she managed to pull the emergency cord. Emergency responders came, took her to the hospital, again long story short, broke her head, surgery done, 6 months later brought her home. First question that the emergency responders asked her, says, Madam, if you don't like Milo and biscuits, why are there rows and rows and rows and rows of Milo and biscuit in your house? And her answer was that, if I said no to the Milo and the biscuit, the 2 young men who comes and see me every Saturday will not come anymore. Alright, so what we have failed as project makers, as grant makers, as project sponsors, we did not ask what is the real need. We assume what the needs are. It's not unusual. It may seem like, oh, that's so clear cut, we shouldn't have done this, but we are still doing it. But there are other objectives to that. Whenever there's a typhoon, there's a flood, that's easy to understand. When there's a typhoon, a few years ago in Philippines, there was a big news about schools losing their computer labs. We had donors in Singapore and say, this is 100 laptops, please donate to the school in Philippines. I say, hang on, they may have other issues. Say, no, please go and donate, alright? So, long story short, after the computers are donated, when we go and ask the school, how is the computer serving you? They say, Dr. Shahul, very sorry. We had to sell all the 100 computers because our roof was leaking. Alright? So these are the things that we have to ask. If you have to ask, because if you come bearing gifts, alright, they are not going to say no to you. Alright? In the fear that you're not going to give whatever they are giving. So think about sponsoring projects that cannot be sold. Think of sponsoring projects that cannot be changed. Alright? Vocational training projects are a great way to start. If you teach somebody a skill that will allow him to be independent economically, that is a lasting change project. You can think of all kinds of things. You can think of sponsoring ex-offenders to be a chef, for example. Sponsoring vulnerable population, street kids with a program so that they can do better in school. So these are the things that we have to consider. Now, we want to make our project sustainable, we want to make our objectives sustainable, and we want to make our funding sustainable. So this is the key word now. I went to a Rotary Club of, I think, Singapore East or something, and the new members were going around the table introducing themselves. So this gentleman stood up and he says, I'm in sustainable air conditioning. I have no idea what it means, but it sounds really good. So I can switch on the aircon and say, hey, it's sustainable. But that's what it is, right? We want to make everything sustainable. All right, so we'll go through that in a while. So these are the things that what I would say are the district objectives. You can see I concentrate quite a bit on service and on projects, and I talk a little bit about learning. Learning is important, and you guys are doing a great job when it comes to fellowship. All the parties, all the nice photos you have, all the drinking, all the eating, that is actually just the beginning. All right, the beginning of a wonderful way to ask them to help you when it comes to doing a permanent change project or lasting change project. All right. So the new thing on the screen is actually the number 3. So number 3 has these 3 words: innovation, continuity, and partnership. So just very quickly, this is the 3 words that was introduced by RI President this year. So what he says is that when you look into projects, consider partnering with other organizations so they can scale up your project.